Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we learn a beautiful concept, that is ecosystem from biology, which is related to Gpstr exam 2022. Our Mother Earth is a unique planet as the life exists only on it because there exist necessary conditions for survival of the living organisms like it presence of atmosphere, presence of water, especially presence of minerals, and it's the right distance from the sun, and of course gravitational force exists. So all these components are present in our Mother Earth. So we are surrounded by beautiful environment. All this which everything surrounds us collectively called as environment. And Earth mainly consists of three spheres. We together called it as biosphere, and these three spheres can be classified into lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere, where lithosphere, it's the outer solid layer of the earth which is covered by rocks and soil. So it contains most of the minerals which provide the essential nutritions for growth of the living organisms. And moving to hydrosphere, it's a part of the earth that contains water for sustaining life. About 70% of the earth is covered by water. So most of the water which is present in seas and in oceans, and very small amount of water which is present, fresh water is present, which is available in the lakes and in the groundwaters, of course rivers also. So this is hydrosphere. On moving to atmosphere, it's a blanket of air that surrounds the earth. Atmosphere contains a lot of gases. So among the gases, of course, ozone layer is also present. Gases like carbon dioxide, oxygen for us to live, nitrogen, hydrogen, lot of gases present in the atmosphere. And this ozone layer protects us from harmful radiations from the sun. So these are the speciality of atmosphere. So collectively all these spheres are called as biosphere, right? So all these basics and all you have learned, you would have learned already. So all living organisms depend on the environment to live. For example, we need energy from the sun, that is light energy, and air, water, food, clothing, all this we require to live. And all these biological surroundings and physical surroundings interacts with each other, living and non-living things, air, water and all non-living things which supports the living organisms. Hence all biological surroundings and physical surroundings interacts with each other to maintain a balance in nature and form a system called as ecosystem. So in this video we shall learn about ecosystem. So in an ecosystem there are two categories of the components. They are biotic components and abiotic components, whereas biotic components are living components. For example, plants, animals, microorganisms, all this comes under biotic components. In case of abiotic components, they are of non-living components like sunlight, air, water, temperature, soil, humidity, etc. Let's see now how this biotic and abiotic components involved in ecosystem and how they are classified into. Okay. So moving to biotic component, these are mainly classified into four trophic levels: trophic level 1, 2, 3 and 4. In trophic level 1, plants are the ones who plays the main role. They are the producers of the food, and these are the starting point of the nourishment chain or food chain for all life of the ecosystem. The producers, they are of autotrophs and heterotrophs. Autotrophs means by itself the plants which produce food for themselves by a process called photosynthesis. You know what is photosynthesis mean? So plants produce their food by using sunlight, air, that is carbon dioxide, water and with the help of chlorophyll, which is present in the leaves, they synthesize food. And here light energy is converted into chemical energy by a process called photosynthesis, and they produce food. Heterotrophs are, they depend on others, autotrophs, for their food. Okay. On moving to the second level, they are herbivorous. What are these herbivorous? They depends on, for some examples of herbivores are deer, rabbits, grasshoppers, bees, all this huge variety, vast variety of this. They directly eat plants. They eat plants for their life, to live. Okay, so they are called as herbivorous, and they are primary consumers. They comes under second trophic level. In the third trophic level, we call them as carnivorous. So carnivorous, they eat the herbivorous. Okay, for example of carnivorous are tiger. Tiger eat deer. Okay, so hence carnivorous depends on herbivorous for their food, and carnivorous are called as secondary consumers. On the fourth trophic level, the consumers are of omnivorous. Omnivorous means they feed both on plants and animals. Means omni means all, ors means eater. So they eat everything, all. So we human beings are good example of omnivorous. Of course, leaving the non-vegetarians. So other examples of omnivorous are, even you can take cats, peacocks, dogs, all these are example of omnivorous. We fall under category fourth one. Okay, at last, even the decomposers also plays a major role in the ecosystem. Microorganisms such as bacteria, fungi, they fed by the decompositions of the dead and decaying matter of the living organisms. They are called as decomposers. Okay, so they secrete some kind of chemicals that digest the complex organic matter and convert them into simple nutrients, and they go back to the earth again. And this recycling of nutrients help the environment clean. Okay, they clean the environment, actually decomposes. Okay, so each stage plays an important role in the ecosystem. On moving to the other side for abiotic components, sunlight, air, water, temperature, soil and humidity, these are also plays an important role in case of ecosystem. So air, oxygen, of course we need for respiration to live. Animals, we require oxygen. I mean, some part of carbon dioxide is used by the plants for the photosynthesis. So this in case of even small insects also, they require air, oxygen to survive. Okay, and in case of water, water is the very important component for the metabolic activities of all the living organisms. So we receive water as rainfall, and it is absorbed by the soil, and again it's taken back by the plants and all this. So water is also an important component. Moving to temperature, so temperature maintains the body functions. We call it is, whether it is hotness or coldness, it depends on the temperature, and some temperature variations changes the climate, and we separate the regions based on the temperature. Okay, body functions of the plants and animals in the living regions. In case of soil, so soil of course is the way of the foremost component of the forest, and for all the matter, even for all other ecosystems, soil plays a very important role. The huge trees, bushes, for huge variety of grasses, all this, even soil contain minerals, quantities of mineral, water, nutrients like potassium, they are present in the soil. Of course, soil contains microorganisms also, which provides which is a dwelling place for the microorganisms. Means microorganisms lives there. Taking from a small earthworm onwards, very tiny microorganisms live in soil, and soil contains huge amount of water also, underground water. Okay, so all these are importance of soil. Humidity. Humidity means it refers the amount of water vapor present in the atmosphere. So when the humidity is high, we can understand that there is much of water vapor in the atmosphere. If it is less, it is water vapor is less, you can. So humidity affects the rate at which the water vapor evaporates from the surface of an organism, such as in transpirations in plants. And of course we sweat, and because of sweating water vapors evaporate. Okay, so all these abiotic components also plays a very important role in case of ecosystem. Okay, so here they may not ask all this to explain, or one or two in the multiple choice questions they may give to identify which are biotic and abiotic, like that. Okay, and the stages you remember, and what are these autotrophs and heterotrophs, these kind of questions we may expect. So all living organisms are linked to each other by primarily by food and form food chain. What is food chain? It's a linear sequence of organisms in which each organism eats the lower member and itself is eaten by the next higher member. So this image represents a simple food chain. Primarily the producers are grass. Plants produce food by photosynthesis process, you know what it is, and this food is eaten by primary consumer, grasshoppers. Grasshoppers are eaten by frog, secondary consumer, and these frogs are eaten by snakes. They are called as tertiary consumer, and the final consumer is hawk. Snake is eaten by hawk, and when this final consumer dies, and it is decomposed by bacteria. So this is a simple food chain, and they forms a link. It has only 3 or 4 consumers. Okay, it starts with the producer first, and mainly of the consumers of primary, secondary, tertiary and final consumer. Okay, so this is a simple food chain. And how does the energy flow in the food chain? All green plants, they produce the necessary food for the organisms. The primary produces plants, and that is for the consumers and heterotrophs also, of course. So these produces by photosynthesis, they produce food, and thus there is a transfer of energy that takes place from producer to the different levels of the consumers along the food chain. So this is called as energy flow in the food chain. So as you know, sun is the primary or the ultimate source of energy for all living organisms. Mainly these food chains of few will be of 4 link chain, a few will be of 5 link chain. Okay, so if you take this first example, carrot, that is producer, eaten by rabbit, primary consumer, and the secondary consumer is fox, tertiary is lion. And in the next second one, you see grass is eaten by grasshopper, and then frog, then snake, python or eagle. It is eaten by eagle. So it may be a 4 or 5 linked food chain also. Next we shall move to food webs. It's a network of several interconnecting food chain is called as food webs. So this image represents a simple food web. Here you can observe the producers grasses, and grasses are eaten by grasshopper, grasshoppers are eaten by frogs, frogs are eaten by snakes. Again, grasshoppers are also eaten by small birds, birds are eaten by snakes. Even frogs are eaten by owl. Even the grass are eaten by mouse, mouse are eaten by owl or directly eaten by hawk or eagle, and mouse is also eaten by fox. Even rabbits also eats grass. They feed on grass, and rabbits are eaten by fox. Rabbits are also directly eaten by hog. So here you can observe many crisscross, like there is a many food chain forms food web. Hence the interlinked network of different food chain forms food web. Okay. So each food chain starts with the plant. So this is the primary producers. Okay. So what are the advantages of this food webs? The food web permits alternative food, means they ensure a better chance of survival of an organism in case if any one of the food sources happen to be scarce. For example, for this snake is fed on frog, or snake eats frog. If there are less frogs, snake also could be fed on birds. Or if this owl isn't scared of mouse, if it did not get mouse, owl can be fed on frog. So it gives a better chance for survival. It simply means that food web provides more stability to an ecosystem than food chain. In food chain, only one line they pass like this, either this or this, like this in a straight line, linear. But the food web get a better chance, provide more stability to an ecosystem than the food chain. Okay. Next, we shall move to the topic ecological pyramid. So you know what is the pyramid means? It means a figure or a shape that has a large base and which continues narrowing, becoming smaller and ends at one point. Isn't it? Finally ends at small point. The same thing happens in case of a food chain also. For example, let us take a food chain with a tiger at the top. So tiger is fed on deers, many deer here. So again, deers are fed on grass. Okay, so they form a pyramid shape. So we can define ecological pyramid like this. It's a graphical representation of energy found within the trophic level of an ecosystem. So these ecological pyramids are also called as trophic pyramids, energy pyramids, or Eltonian pyramids. Charles Elton, he developed the concept of ecological pyramid, and it's also called as food pyramid. Okay, so there are several names, and mainly these pyramids are classified into three types: pyramid of number, pyramid of biomass, and pyramid of energy. This image shows an example of pyramid of numbers. In this, we can observe that at the base, grasses, they are the producers, and moving to the next level, the primary consumers. Zebra's numbers are reduced comparatively, and then as we move to the higher level, still the number is reduced. The secondary consumers, lions fed on zebra fed on grasses. So in case of number of pyramid of numbers, as we move from the lower trophic level to the higher trophic level, number decreases. Okay. This image shows an example of pyramid of biomass, and you can see two types of pyramid here: upright pyramid and inverted pyramid. Upright pyramid of biomass in a terrestrial ecosystem we can find, and inverted pyramid in the aquatic ecosystem. So as we move from the producer to the top of secondary consumers, the mass is also reduced. In case of upright pyramid, you can see here for an example they have given produces grasses. If they are of 1000 kg, when you move to the primary level, it is reduced to 100, then it is to 10, then to 1 kg. And this lion is fed on fox is fed on deer, and deer fed on grasses. So as we move from the lower trophic level to the higher trophic level, In case of pyramid of biomass, the mass is reduced. Okay, but in case of an inverted pyramid, the mass goes on increases, as we observe here. Primary the producers at the base, and herbivores or the small little fishes, and then next to the carnivorous whale. Whale is fed on fishes, fish is fed on small algae present in the water, or algae or its food, whatever it is. Then so as we move up, in this case from the primary or the producer to the top secondary consumer, the number increases. So this shows an inverted pyramid in the aquatic ecosystem. Okay, the pyramid of energy. So here, as you see in the producers, they have 10,000 kilocalorie of energy. As we move to the next level, it is reduced to 1000 kg, so kilocalorie. Next is reduced again to 100 and then to 10. So as you move up from the lower trophic level to the higher, the energy is also reduced. So this is an example of pyramid of energy. Based on this energy flow in the ecosystem, there is a question in the model question paper of 2022 Gpstr exam, in the biological science question paper, that the energy flow in the ecosystem is unidirectional. It is energy flows in the one direction only. Okay, so in this beautiful ecosystem, if one link in the food chain is broken, the entire chain gets affected adversely. That is, the balance in the nature is disturbed. Not only that, we human beings are also disturbing the balance in the nature by deforestation or excessive use of harmful chemicals, industrialization, and of course the scientific way of life nowadays, and increase in the greenhouse gases, that is greenhouse effect. So all this causes the imbalance in the ecosystem. But there is an absolute need today to restore or to assist nature by not disturbing its integrity, and help the nature to gain its lost delicacy. How can we do that? By protecting our natural resources like wildlife, rivers, forests. So each one of us can contribute greatly towards the preservation of our ecosystem. Radical changes have to be made in our thoughts, so that to save and accumulate the natural resources, so which is the very root for our life. As we know, plants plays a major role in the ecological system. Plants require certain nutrients for its growth, such as nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, sulfur, magnesium, calcium, etc. They require along with water and sunlight. And these nutrients will be absorbed by the plants through roots. Certain compounds like nitrogen cannot be absorbed directly by plants. So let us learn about biological fixation of nitrogen into the soil. The conversion of atmospheric nitrogen into nitrogenous compound through agency of living organism is known as biological nitrogen fixation. So as we know, there are about 78% nitrogen in the atmosphere, and which is in the form of N triple bond N, like this very strong bond. It's very difficult for the plants to absorb this nitrogen directly in this form. Not only by plants, no organisms can absorb in this form. So this N2 has to be converted into either nitrate or nitrate forms. In the reduced form of nitrogen, it has to be converted, then only it could be absorbed by the plants. Hence it is done through a nitrogen cycle. Let us learn about nitrogen cycle. This is a simple nitrogen cycle which represents all the factors involving in nitrogen cycle here. So atmospheric nitrogen N2 is fixed into the soil through various methods, either through biological method or even natural method, even industrial method also. In natural method, by lightning, through volcano, UV rays, forest fire, all this fix the nitrogen compounds to the soil. Even in the industrial method, through fertilizers, the nitrogen is fixed to the soil. Through biological method, first the nitrogen is converted into ammonium or ammonia, and then to nitrite, and then to nitrate. And even among these three forms, plants observe this nitrate form in major source. They observe this nitrate form only as majority. Okay, so in biological form, the conversion of nitrogen, atmospheric nitrogen, into nitrite or nitrate is known as nitrification. So the process of conversion of nitrogen, or is ammonia also, this ammonia into nitric oxides or in ammonia into nitrite or nitrates are known as nitrification. And hence this form of ammonia, that is nitrates absorbed by the plants, and on consuming the plants, animals also observe this nitrate or ammonia, and on death and decay of this biomass of the animals, again ammonia is fixed into the atmosphere. Okay, it is released to the atmosphere back. So on releasing the ammonia back to the atmosphere through death and decay of the biomass of plants and animals is known as ammonification. And here you can observe this nitrate form of ammonia, nitrate form. Through some bacteria, it is again broken and sent back to the atmosphere. This process of converting nitrate into nitrogen is called as denitrification. Actually, this is a waste process. So with lot of difficulty here, some bacteria are fixing naturally occurring nitrogen into nitrate. Again, there are few bacteria releasing or converting this nitrate form of ammonia into nitrogen. So this is simplest form of nitrogen cycle. Hence plants acquire, and this process is continuous, a cyclic form. Therefore plants observe nitrogen in form of ammonia for their growth. It's very essential. If there is no ammonia is present in the plants, it's present in the soil, and there will be yellowing of the leaves may start falling, and then plants may die, and the animals, those who feed on the plants, will not get the food for survival, and hence the whole ecological system is damaged. So actually, in a lengthy way, we can explain about this ammonia fixation. Since we are focusing on the important points, I'm just moving with the main points only. Okay, and there are two type of organisms. They are prokaryotic and eukaryotic organisms. We generally classify. Prokaryotic organisms means they are single-celled organisms. They do not possess nucleus. And eukaryotic organisms are, they possess cell and they possess nucleus also. For example, eukaryotic are we animals, human beings and animals are example. And animals and human beings are unable to fix this nitrogen directly into our body. Hence, these prokaryotic animals, single cell organisms, they help to fix the nitrogen to our body. So how it is? So you saw in the nitrogen cycle. Okay, and main points to be noted is a symbiotic bacterium, rhizobium, that is present in the roots of the leguminous plants such as bean and groundnuts. They helps to fix the ammonium into the soil. Okay, So remember this rhizobium bacteria. And there are nitrogenous enzyme which helps to fix the nitrogen into the soil. They are molybdenum and ferrous protein. Ferrous means iron protein. Ferrous protein. So these two are called as nitrogenous enzyme. There are also leghemoglobin, like hemoglobin. Hemoglobin will be red in color, you know. This leghemoglobin, they are pink colored pigment, and they are also called as oxygen scavengers. They absorb, okay, and they provide an anaerobic condition. Anaerobic means without oxygen, the condition for the processing of ammonia to the soil. And this processing is done in the roots of the nodule of leguminous plants. Now let us focus on this few important points. Nitrification, it's a process of conversion of atmospheric nitrogen into nitrogen oxides, or the biological oxidation of ammonia into its nitrate is known as nitrification. So this is the formula which is representing the simplest form of the formula. NH4 plus ammonium is converted into nitrite, NO2 minus, and then it is converted as NO3 minus, nitrate. Okay, we are not going in depth of this nitrification process. It's a lengthy process actually when you go in the higher studies and all. Biology students must be knowing in depth of this, but for this level I think so these important points will be enough. Okay, and to convert ammonia into its nitrite, the bacteria which helps are nitrosomonas, and the second one you remember, nitrosococcus, and these are also helping, of course, nitrosophria and nitrosolobus. This is also helping, but these two are the main ones. And to convert from nitrite to nitrate, nitrobacter is the main bacteria which helps, and nitrospina and nitrococcus also of course involving, but you remember this nitrobacter. Next process, ammonification. So for conversion of decaying biomass into ammonia back to the atmosphere is known as ammonification. This is done by bacteria called as Bacillus and Proteus. NO3 minus converted into NH3, ammonia. Okay, and denitrification. So this is the process of conversion of nitrogen oxides back to the atmospheric nitrogen. So this is actually a waste process. Okay, why it is so? With difficulty they fix the nitrogenous oxide. Again this through denitrification process, a few bacteria send back this nitrogen to the atmosphere only. So those bacteria are called as Pseudomonas and Theobacillus. These two does the process of denitrification. Okay, so in this case we can remember all these bacteria which are involved in this process. I think we have covered the important points related to ecology. So in a short way I have explained this biological nitrogen fixation. You can refer for more points if you have any other sources or material. Okay, so in the following classes we will take up physics and maths classes, then we'll focus on chemistry and biology. So it's a crucial time now, only few days are left for your exams, so prepare from all the sources, don't depend on only one source. I hope you understand. So give your full energy and work hard for the exam. So if you like the video, don't forget to give a thumbs up. If you have any issues, please comment in the comment section.